Please join me in welcoming the new Hartford Foundation President, Jay Williams.
Thank you. Thank you. Joanne, thank you for the introduction. Good evening. Thank you all for joining us. Have you enjoyed yourself thus far this evening? Before we get started, would you please join me in thanking the staff, the volunteers, all of those who worked to put this evening together, without whom none of us would be here this evening. So please help me thank the staff of the Hartford Foundation. My family and I have arrived here in the great state of Connecticut during some very interesting times. This, as you've seen tonight, is a state that is rich in history, in talent, and in culture. It is a state that is still comparatively wealthy, but it is also a state struggling with deep and structural financial challenges. Those challenges are having a cascading effect on our residents, our businesses, and our nonprofits. You would think that with the great Mark Twain spending significant time in the state, he was famously quipped while he was very much alive that the reports of his death were being grossly exaggerated. But with the onslaught of headlines that are chronicling the financial health of our state, it wouldn't be unreasonable for any of us to wonder if the demise of our region perhaps is right around the corner. Of course, we all hope that these predictions are premature, but when we look around our region, the challenges remain significant. Disparities exist across the state of Connecticut, in our regions, and in our towns. Tackling these issues will not be easy, but you already know that. It will require sacrifices and difficult choices. It will require us to challenge the status quo, a status quo that, quite frankly, works for some. But these issues can and must be addressed, and it must be done together. We often talk about collaboration being an opportunity. Collaboration is now a necessity. It is no longer a nice thing to do. It is a must do, both now and going forward. The reason for that is because the dreams and aspirations exist in every corner of our region. Unfortunately, opportunities to achieve those dreams and aspirations do not. These are our kids. They have dreams. They have aspirations. But dreams don't have zip codes, and aspirations don't have color. So we have to ask ourselves, are we going to continue to allow those factors impact the success of our children? Tell me, which of these kids' dreams matter more? Which of these kids should have greater opportunity or greater access? They're our kids. Working together, we can be more and we can do more so that these children, our children, can achieve their dreams. We owe them nothing less. If there's a silver lining in what we're facing, it's the fact that we have been here before. We have faced down some of the greatest financial challenges this community and this country have experienced. The Great Depression, the stock market crash of 1997, the Great Recession of 2008. Working together, business leaders, educational leaders, philanthropic leaders, nonprofits, donors, volunteers, we persevered and overcame those challenges. I believe, and I think by your presence here tonight, you believe that there is nothing that we can't accomplish if we harness our collective will. The Foundation's commitment to this community is steadfast and tenacious. As our former tagline once said, here to help, here to stay. And at 92 years and counting, we are indeed here to stay. Throughout the best and worst of times, all of the financial calamities we've seen as a community, it has been the unwavering generosity of our donors that has given us the financial confidence to move toward the future. But we are more than this. We are more than our endowment. We are more than our dollars. We are more than our assets. We're people. People working together toward a common cause under a shared vision. Our donors are the reason we're here tonight, and they are the force behind the work that we do. We didn't get here by ourselves. We are here standing on very broad shoulders and a firm foundation. Because in 1925, two bankers had a vision to create a community trust, a charitable endowment that would be an enduring resource for this community. That vision still forms the base of our mission and impacts the work that we do today. We sit at the nexus of great need and deep generosity. People willing to work together and give of themselves to help lift up those of our citizens who are facing life's greatest challenges. Simply put, we cannot do it without you. We are also 29 towns strong. As a matter of fact, I extended a personal invitation to the chief elected leader of each of those 29 towns, and I'm so glad that many of them have been able to join us here this evening. Please, thank you all. And with these 29 towns comes the strength of diversity. And with diversity comes unique experiences that help us lead to innovative solutions. These diverse voices are reflected in donors like these, who give their time, their talent, and their financial resources to help us work to better our community. And while we're lucky enough to be standing on their shoulders, we are certainly not complacent in resting on them. We constantly expect more of ourselves, more of our partners, and we're going to also expect more of all of you. We need your time, your energy, your ideas, your involvement to help move this community forward. We all need to lead differently. We realize that leading differently starts with us as an anchor institution. We also realize that the philanthropic process can often look like this. And it may sometimes feel like this. We know that we ask a lot of our grantees and a lot of our partners. And in a recent survey, they told us that we were doing a lot of things right, but they also told us there was room for improvement, that we could be more nimble. I'm not sure that we'll ever be that nimble, but more nimble than we are. We also, again, leading differently starts with us. We are aspiring to be more agile, to be more efficient, and we're asking ourselves, how can we make this easier? How can it be done in fewer steps? How can it be done in a less complicated way? It may take us some time. It may not be perfect, but we'll never stop trying. And you know what else? At the Hartford Foundation for Public Giving, we're going to take more risk. Not these kind of risks. Not these risks. But risk like this. Risk on people and new approaches that would help launch our community forward. Take Oscar Robles, who is the first graduate of our Career Pathways Manufacturing Collaborative. Oscar wanted to demonstrate to his children that it was never too late to start a new chapter in life. It was never too late to gain skills, knowledge, and experience that would help him to provide more for his family. He went through the program and realized it wasn't always going to be easy. There were times that he wanted to give up. But with the support, with the training, with the encouragement, Oscar achieved his goal. He was able to share that lesson and that victory with his family. With the support, with the encouragement of one another, we can do the same thing. Now that's a risk that's worth taking. So my first few months here in the community have been spent listening to so many of you. I've heard the aspirations, the dreams, the frustrations, what's working well, where we as a community can improve. So let's play a quick game of word association. Yeah, this could be dangerous, live word association, right? When I say the Hartford Foundation for Public Giving, what are some of the first words that come to your mind? Help. Money, help, caring, good. What about flexibility? Maybe, maybe not. Well, if it didn't, it should now and going forward. We realize that we need to be and are going to be more flexible, working with our nonprofit partners so they can meet the citizens and the challenges exactly where they are. What about the big picture? It is important that we have a process that allows us to be good stewards of your resources, that allows us to do our due diligence. But we're committed to not be so fixated on the process that we lose sight of the larger goal of why we're working together with you. How about collaboration? You can never have enough collaboration. More collaboration across our region, more collaboration across our state, and indeed more collaboration across the country. Do you think of humility when you think of the Hartford Foundation? The author of The Purpose-Driven Life, Rick Warren, said that true humility is not thinking less of yourself, but thinking of yourself less often. We are going to approach our work with humility. We understand that there is a body of work and knowledge that we possess, but there is more things that we need to learn. There are more things that we need to learn. We also know that in trying new things that we will sometimes get it wrong and we will sometimes fail. But the difference is we're going to fail forward. We're going to learn, pick ourselves up, and try again. How about sharing? Not only sharing our resources, but sharing the lessons that we learn, sharing the knowledge and the expertise that we are blessed to have as a part of the foundation. And new perspectives. There are new perspectives everywhere in this community, and we are eager to tap into those perspectives. So I recently read a story that talked about and lamented the fact that people were moving out of Connecticut. Well, I mean, people also move out of Hawaii, and people move out of the place. I mean, people move. It's just a fact of life. But instead of talking about the people who are moving out of Connecticut, how about the people who are moving into our community? We have many new leaders who are moving into the community to join all of you who have been here fighting the good fight. As a matter of fact, I had the opportunity to just recently complete Leadership Greater Hartford Executive Orientation Program. And a number of my fellow cohorts are here this evening. Thank you all for coming out. I had a chance to meet people who were leading in education, philanthropy, business, nonprofits, people who are eager to share their talent, their passion, and their perspective to help move this community forward. And while my family and I are new to Hartford, we are not new to the issues facing this community. This is our home now. We're putting down roots here amongst all of you, and we thank you for the warm reception that we've received. But while we're new to this community, the Hartford Foundation has been here, as we said, for over 92 years. But that doesn't mean we know it all. Remember, we just talked about humility. We know that we have a lot to learn. And in doing that, we're going to be coming to all of your towns, to all of your communities, to hear your ideas, to see how you are leading differently. What are you doing that's working, and where might you need help? How can we be more valuable as a partner to help lifting up your community? It is through you that we will find ways to galvanize each other, to inspire new ideas, all of which are needed across our region. So remember this face, like it or not, You'll see it again. This is how the foundation will begin to lead differently. So let me ask, how will all of you? Here are some ideas. How about taking time to experience the richness of our community? If you live in Avon, check out Manchester Community College. Maybe go see a show at Cheney Hall. This is new information, but I heard that you don't actually need a passport to cross the Connecticut River. I know I'm new, I'm just saying. If you live in Enfield, have you seen the show at Playhouse on Park in West Hartford? Good, good, glad to hear that. I'm looking forward to it. And if you live in Hartford, when's the last time you've been to the Athenaeum? Did you know it was free to every resident of the city of Hartford? It's also free to every resident of the region on the second Saturday of each month. As you begin to lead differently, we want you to share your experiences. Tell us what you did. Tell us what you learned. Tell us what new ideas it sparked for you. We're creating a website, and we ask you to share your experiences with us, and we will share our experiences with you. Are there any Husky fans here? Well, do you remember this? In 2004, and again in 2014, UConn men's and women's basketball team won the NCAA national championship. Look at the crowd. But look at this crowd and tell me, between the players on the stage and the thousands in the crowd, tell me which person is from Enfield or Manchester or Tallinn. Tell me who's from East Hartford, who's from Avon, Simsbury, or Glastonbury, or who might be from Youngstown, Ohio, or Kansas City, Missouri. The point is, you can't tell me, and no one is asking. And you know why no one's asking? Because it doesn't matter. What matters is that they worked together, they built on their strengths, they set aside their differences. They didn't define themselves by political subdivisions on a map. They didn't define themselves by their socioeconomic status. At the end of the day, they led together and they won together. They realized that they were greater together. This is and should continue to be the story of our community. So now, as we begin to conclude, let me tell you that it's a new way of leading. It's a new way of leading together. Because when we lead together, we'll be greater together. And as our current tagline says, that is together for good. All that being said, the news headlines notwithstanding, perhaps our demise isn't right around the corner. Better times are indeed ahead, and it's up to each of us to make it so. There's a lot of work to be done, and there's a long journey ahead of us. And I need you to join us. We need you to join us. But before we embark on that long journey, I need you to join us tonight, right here on this stage, as we finish the rest of the night with a Hartford Hot Several this evening. Thank you all for coming. God bless you.